Don't try to sneak into your room like that. I know what you've got behind your back. Records. More new records.
All right, so here we are at SME in Steining. Stenning. It's Stenning, sorry. And we were here a couple of years ago. And we're going to be here again, and we're going to see the changes that have been made with the new CEO right here. Say hello.
Hello. Hi.
Let's go in.
Sure. Well, the first thing that's going to be obvious for you, Michael, is the new SME logo. SME since 1946. Hand-spelled though.
It's good. You should be proud of the longevity, for sure.
Absolutely. It says it all, doesn't it?
And there's the famous cantilever turntable. You wouldn't change that.
Not so.
Okay, and this is the stand that was in Munich?
Yeah, Munich. That's what I call our super rack.
Yeah.
That's a one-off piece. Got a lot of interest in Munich. Post-Munich, we've attracted a little bit of attention, and the first orders come through, and there's a few more.
So it's not going to be one-off, you're going to make them?
We're going to put it into production, probably a variation of that. That is 30 stone in weight, of course, for all the right reasons. But we're going to do a modified version of that as the production run. But that is the one-off.
Yeah, I imagine shipping that must not be fun.
Exactly. Special crate required. Yeah. Some interesting items there, Michael, of course, SME audio and SME precision engineering. So the centre and the bottom shelves are from the sectors of aerospace, Formula One, medical equipment.
And what percentage of the business today is non-turntable and tone arm manufacturing?
40%.
40.
40%, yeah.
Has that percentage shifted over the years?
It fluctuates. 10 years ago it was 50-50.
Yeah.
When I rolled up, joined in November 16, it was about 75-25,
wow.
And it's increased already to 40%.
Oh, wow.
By the end of this year it'll be 50-50.
What's your goal, 50-50 or?
50-50 is a nice balance.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll go upstairs. Yeah, we'll enjoy a cup of tea and we'll get
Sure.
settled in. We've got Pistachio Shortcake en route, Michael, so we'll be with us very soon. You're right and left.
I should remember.
There you go.
Yes. The
SME boardroom.
The hallowed grounds. I love that this room exudes the 1950s, and it should stay that way.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's as is and will remain as is.
It's like Mad Men. It's like an episode of Mad Men.
Yeah, it's part of the SME experience.
That's the same bottle of Coke that was here when I was. Okay, it's been 3 years since we visited SME. It's 3 years later. Let's see what's going on.
So this is our inspection department. All the contract jobs and SME jobs, they will all come through here. They'll all be inspected to a high standard, down to the latest drawings.
And this includes both the audio business and your other
and the
aerospace
subcontract
or whatever,
work and hi-fi for other companies as well. Lin Audio in Scotland as well.
Right.
So we do that as well.
So this is all inspection.
Inspection department. Yeah.
What's fascinating is that there's people living right across the street.
I know, it's such a nice
it's
area.
residential.
It's residential.
And is there a tennis court here? Who's tennis?
Yeah, that's for the local people, and they can just come in and use. And they've got bowling
Oh,
green.
now are you considered local people so you can go play tennis too?
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
Well, I'm only 10 minutes. I live in Stenning, work in Stenning.
I mean, like this guy, can he just take a break and go play tennis?
Oh, you have to be a member. You have to be a member.
okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to join that. So this is part of the inspection department. This is a CMM coordinate measuring machine.
So he's measuring.
Measuring the parts. This is an air-controlled environment. Is kept at 20 degrees.
20 degrees, yeah.
And we would take points from the part.
Now let's just say that if this part had been manufactured 20 years ago, there would not have been this.
Oh
this
no,
machine.
you'd have to have done it all by hand. You'd have to
With a
whether you
diode?
do internal micrometers, whether you'd use gauges.
Oh, I thought this was the weight room. This
yeah,
is not the weight.
this
isn't
is
the weight
the
room.
man-up room. Yeah.
So what are all these things?
These are all gauges. They're all calibrated to BS standard. So they would be used for if boring holes out and whatever in parts.
I see.
And that. So
What's the standard? The VS? What's the standard?
British
Oh,
standard.
BS.
Yeah, BS standard.
Oh, most reviewers I know are also calibrated to the BS standard, but it's a
'cause
slightly
it's
different.
American. They all go to the same.
It's a different meaning. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the SME coffee machine. Did you build this? No, you didn't make that. No, okay.
You met that one? No. So this is basically the shop floor. You see the.
Now, has this changed at all since I was here? It's
No, it's
pretty much
exactly
the same.
you go up the stairs.
So I'm not going to walk through this.
You could just sort of see a pan a little bit. They're all cast in-house. They're having work on them, so all the sharp edges are taken off. All the edges
It's all
are being
cast,
round.
not machined.
No,
It's all
it's
cast.
the casting.
No, because this was all designed at a period of time when you really couldn't machine it.
Machine it, that's
You
right.
probably could now.
And the amount of money it would cost to actually machine it, because that's cast out of zinc, that probably
Yeah.
it'd probably take pence to
Yeah.
probably
Well, why do they use zinc for this particular?
the way it plates. You could use aluminium, but with the bearing housings and the yoke housing, we decided that we'd make it out of zinc. So all these parts are all getting worked on.
So there was a period of time when that would have been considered like a 20-year supply of these things, and now it's probably a very short.
Well, back in the 70s, we were doing 700 arms a week.
Oh yeah, the 70s, yeah.
So at that
But there was a big dip.
dip in the 80s
Yeah.
when CDs come along.
Right,
and
which was a
whatever.
big dip for
Dip
sound
for,
quality.
yeah, that's right. So all these parts are all being prepared, rubbed, linished.
So he's
drilled hand finishing, all the little all the way around the outside of the control bracket.
And that piece can take being put in a vise to that kind of pressure.
Yeah, there's still work to be done. The faces will still be linished at a later date,
Right.
and they're soft jaws, so it won't mark it. So that will be all rubbed, and then the next stage will be barreled. So all the parts will go into the barreling shop, and then all the edges will have a uniform radius put on. All these parts are in preparation. These parts will be output socket. It's been rubbed around the outside, and then the next job will be barreled.
That's the DIN plug.
That's a DIN plug for the bottom of the arm and that.
So all these little people, was this also cast?
All cast in house.
Wow. This is the DIN plug. Wow. Amazing.
So even down to the on the base, all the screws are all made in house. You wouldn't be able to buy them outside because of the design of them. So they're all made in house, and we've got control of the quality and the finishes.
What?
That's the base jaw. It's a screw that holds the base jaw together.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the base jaw. Yeah, you have all the technical names for all these different parts.
Different parts. Yeah. So they'll be barreled and polished.
Yep.
And then over the side we've got some output sockets, which that DIN plug fits into. So that's having it is being prepared.
Get a bit of a ring
Right.
off of there at the moment.
Yeah, that's in that spins around.
Yeah, that goes around, so you can
Okay.
so this part on the base.
You know, what ends up happening is people see this finished arm and they just say, okay, it's a finished arm. They don't
understand how
what goes into every one of these little parts.
Yeah. All the screws,
Sure.
all the washers are all made in house. The base jaw.
Oh, so this is that screw over there.
That screw we
is
just looking at.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the one that people forget to loosen up when they try to adjust
So
it.
try to move it. And
Right.
whatever,
Doesn't
yeah.
move. You got to loosen those. Oh.
Yeah. Once it's loose, it'll move backwards
Right,
and forwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have to better appreciate all of this stuff to know what goes into
Goes
this.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, attention to detail like no other.
That's right. Yeah.
Craftsmanship.
Yeah, when he retires, he could do nails. You know.
And I think it's like you're doing a better job on the SME stuff than you would on the nails.
I hope so. That's not going to grow back either.
No. So these two machines are auto machines. This one is actually making a contract part. That's making it outside. Yeah. This machine is actually making that's another contract job.
That's okay. It's still fascinating.
Yeah. So the parts are all made in there. They can move from one side to the other, and then
So what is that?
that's a second spindle. So it'll move across and pick the part up from the other side, and then it'll move back, and then it'll either mill or drill or tap on the other side. So you've got a secondary.
That's the part that's being milled right there. That's in the.
At the moment, it's had the thread put on there, and then it'll go across the other side, and then they'll probably put a flat on it.
And what is that liquid? Is that hydraulic?
Just oil, just cutting oil.
There it goes.
So it'll pick it up and it'll move it across to the other side.
Yeah, unfortunately, the autofocus is focusing on that, not on.
So it's in the other poly.
Some are brass.
Some are brass, some stainless steel, different materials.
This is an example of SME precision engineering. This was componentry that we made for one of the world's most advanced fighter aircraft, and it's part of the locking mechanism for the cockpit canopy.
Oh, for like the part that locks the guy in place.
Sure does.
So this machine at the moment, it's a yoke head for the pickup arms, and it's drilling and tapping the holes in the ends on the top and the holes on the underside.
So this one is actually making a part for a tone arm, not a contract job.
The milling machine at the moment it's making a contract job.
So again, it's a piece of work for SME precision engineering.
These are more parts for SME arms. So at the moment they're being fettled. So all these areas or all the marks have been taken off them.
So this is the thing
that's the base jaws.
Right.
Yeah, and then the screws we saw earlier on that go on the slideways.
So now you've been making this part, all of these parts for like
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Were they being manufactured before these machines?
Yeah, it's like the original before these machines were put in the 80s.
And so how were they made? How were they made?
They're die cast. So the main part is die cast, and then they'd be hand fettled after to get all the finishes, and then they'd be barreled.
But this is machined now and not die cast?
No, they're
Still
die cast. Yeah, all die cast.
And where does that happen?
In one of our sub factories. Yeah. These are just some of the bias weights that go on the M2 arm. So they're just checking to make sure that the parts are up to standard, and then they go through to the next section.
Now, are those brass?
They're brass.
And they use brass because it's higher mass?
Because of the mass and the way that the arm transfers across the record. These parts are the lift lowering device for the arm. So that's a dashpot cylinder. Then there'd be a piston that goes inside the part, and then with the silicon fluid, it's the lift lowering device for the arm.
It's funny, even if you've seen this arm a million times, when you see the part by itself,
they're all different parts.
It's hard to integrate it into the whole.
Do a little
I remember this. I remember this guy. Same guy.
So this is Paul.
Yeah. Hi there. Well, I met you last couple years ago. Yeah. This is your little fight computer, right?
New chromium, new bright chromium rather than gold. I've got some here that these are hand polished, because if you put these on a wheel, it'll destroy all the sharp angles.
Right. You have to do these one at a time. One at a time.
Yeah. Can't use it long. Different grades of memory. Then you rouge them by hand afterwards. Something like with the angles you've got here. You put those on the mark, because it's so pretty, it will blend it well. I want to keep it as straight as possible. Yeah. These are from the production as well. Do you want me to take the bag off?
It's alright to joke on the screen.
If you can't see your face in that, I haven't done my job properly.
It's not polished in there.
No, that's actually covered by the arm.
You're saying you didn't do your job properly in this one?
No, I don't have to put this on. Oh, this is actually covered by the arm itself.
Right.
These are actually shown. Right. So if you get in there, then I'm interfering with the bedding surface.
Right, that has to be.
That is critical.
Right.
That is critical. What we tend to do here as well is when we're polishing, we use the light. Because if you, well, we can stick it here anyway. I use the natural light, just wipe this over. And you use the light to gauge, and you can see, when you move that up and down, can you see there's a blemish there? There's a slight bump.
Yeah. I don't think I'd ever know. It's right in here.
Yeah,
Never.
just there.
Who knows that except for you? That's all that matters, right?
All right, thanks, man. Okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
Right, okay. This is our electroplating area. So all these parts on the shelves are ready to go to the next stage of manufacturer. Some of the parts which originally were nickel, they've been copper plated, and they would be blasted to get a uniform finish over them, and then they'll have either black chrome or satin chrome.
Wow, so it's a multi-step process to get that.
Yeah, so they go through different stages as they go through the whole of the
Sub-platters.
They're the police for the turntable.
I call them sub-platters.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
that's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
Platters. Highly recognizable parts.
Yeah, on mounting boards. And then we're back onto output plug bodies, output sockets. So they've all been rubbed. They've been into the barreling process, which gives them a uniform finish and takes off all the sharp corners.
Yep.
And then they've been blasted.
And then they get copper plated.
And then they get copper
And then they
plated.
get plated.
Plated for either black chrome or satin chrome. And then all these parts are all through different stages, even down to reservoir covers have all been. So this is a preparation area for the next stage of blasting and plating. So some parts have been chrome.
Is this a motor?
Motor housing.
Yeah.
So the next stage for the motor housing will it'd be blasted to give it a uniform finish. Yeah. And then down through here is the electro. You can't go
Yeah,
past the floor.
I know.
That's all the electroplating area.
This is where you make French fries.
Yeah, dip them in there and yeah.
I just told
This is the barreling department.
Yeah.
So these are resin cones, and they're in this barrel. There's some soap that goes in with the mixture. The parts go in brass, zinc castings, and this goes around and round, and they roll over, and
Sure.
it gives it a uniform finish in all the parts. But unfortunately, we haven't got any parts today. So,
That's okay. We're making too much noise.
Yeah, that's.
Everybody understands this. This is what people say about me.
He's straight. Oh, right, yeah.
So now, when that says if they find a warped chassis, can you really straighten it?
Yeah, it gets resurfaced.
Yeah,
so it's our terminology, Michael, but basically
It's not
because of the close tolerance work that we do.
Right.
This one has now got to be replaced.
Again, someone looks at the plate like that and they say, okay, they just cut a couple of holes in a piece of aluminum, and then yet if you look at the drawing, there's a lot going on there. A lot going on.
So you see all the tight tolerances there, all the plus the minuses, and of course, in any manufacturing process, Michael, every now and again, one of them is just a micron or two out.
Yep, happens.
This is our store area, so all the parts, they've been manufactured and then they will come in and they've been kept for the next stage, whether there's more work to be done to them, whether they're drilled or tapped, or they go to the next stage and they'll be plated. So
Now you have parts in here for every arm
all the arms, all the turntable.
forever? Spare parts or just new parts?
Up to a certain age,
Yeah.
So, and we on all the parts that we make.
And this is your parts bin.
These are all the bins, so all these parts have been made out of either strip, aluminium, stainless steel, so all the little washers that are on the base jaw are all manufactured, all the cover plates, all the washers that go on the yoke head, between the yoke head and the spindle.
Wow.
All the plastic parts are all made in-house, they're all plastic moulded within the factory.
So you do plastic molding as well as machining, as well as casting.
All the tiny plugs that are made, we put all the brass pins, they're all made in house, all the brass pins. All the pillars behind you.
Michael, this is an example of all of the smaller parts that SME make in-house, from spindles to washers, to screws and caps, bushes and sleeves. SME in-house here at Stenning, England, we effectively make all of our own parts to suit our products. Wow. And that's just a snapshot example of a lot of the smaller intricate parts that we make.
So how many parts go into, let's say, a turntable and an arm? You ever count the number of actual parts, just a number?
It's
hundreds?
Yeah.
Hundreds.
All the screws, washers.
This I recognize. This is
all fans.
This is a lockdown for the.
That's the oiler for the oil well for the spindle.
Right.
Suspension mounts pin.
Little pins.
So even down to this sort of pin, that's machined in house. And there's an element of hand finishing and fettling before it goes off to be plated, and those pins make up the suspension.
Do you even see that part?
No.
You don't see that part.
You don't see it, and
unless you take the covers.
And if you look closely on it, with a curved top, machined. And you'll even see here, Michael, there's a real tiny little, real small washer. Again, we can buy these off the shelf, I'm sure, from almost anywhere. But for SME quality control,
you make it yourself.
We make it ourselves. It is said that Mr. Aikman figured nuts, bolts and washers, there's nowhere on the planet that can make them to our standards and requirements. So we make them ourselves, and we always have done.
Yeah, here's a part you figure, okay, you can order out. You know.
But you could, and it's part of the uniqueness of SME, Michael. We are probably the only high-end audio manufacturer that effectively makes everything in-house today. Doesn't matter how small or large, it's made in-house.
Yep.
There are many a company across the world that it's not their core business for making screws, and studs and fasteners, sleeves and bushes.
Paint spraying shop. All the parts will go through the factory, tonearms, chassis, and they all have a coating of black paint.
So that's the tone arm tubes, painted up, to be hand finished.
Now, I'll turn the fan off.
Please.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier about the investment in our paint shop. So the original equipment is spray booth and oven. And traditionally SME have worked in this sort of size paint arena for many years. Just recently we have invested heavily in replacement paint equipment, and that's just through here. So we've got a much larger spray booth.
Side company, and it's very light if you feel the
That's made in Chicago, right?
Chicago white metal.
Well, it's not made in Chicago.
Oh, no.
The die cast is from Chicago white metal.
Okay.
The machining and hand finishing process that goes with it is SME.
So that company's been making this for you for a really long time.
There's not many companies in the world that do magnesium alloy casting. And in partnership between ourselves and the die cast of magnesium alloy manufacturer, we have pioneered this product.
And it comes in a box like this, just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come in a raw form, and then of course we then turn it into the manufactured.
This is for a different arm.
That'd be for a series 300 and 81.4s,
Right.
made by the same company.
So these are also magnesium.
Yeah,
cast.
magnesium. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a front face for a 3012 control panel.
Yep.
Probably late 50s SME paint shop. So you can see by the painter's attire.
The painter wore a suit and tie and a sweater.
Yeah, that's the attire of the era. But there you go. We're painting SME scale model equipment components there. You'll see is a model of a car, which happens to be a Jaguar. Same image that we just seen there from late 50s to 2017.
Wish me to stand aside.
No, I want you in the picture. Come on.
All right.
Where would this be without you here? It wouldn't work. Right?
I'm not sure about that. This is the pad printer.
That's the pad printer. What is a pad printer?
The side of the tonearms.
The SME logo and the setup lines
Oh.
that are on the side of the toner.
Oh, that puts the I see.
Yeah.
Which is a critical thing,
Yes.
in my opinion. Okay. All right, thank you.
We're in a storeroom area, Michael. So this is where our product is packaged and prepared for shipping worldwide.
These boxes are made locally or someplace
Locally.
locally. So you try to give as much business as you can to
keep
local
everything
printers, local.
Yeah, we
box
keep everything
makers.
local, and in terms of packaging, there is the first level sleeve and then the outer sleeve that you've seen up here.
Right. Yep.
So two forms of packaging.
Know it well. I know it well.
Again, storage area for SME precision engineering. So there's elements of componentry manufactured ready for packing and shipping.
So now we're in the assembly department.
Right.
So now we're now bringing all the parts that we've seen on the shop floor all together. So we've got control panels for turntables. The parts from the plating shop are all coming up and they're being inspected to make sure they're up to a SME standard. And once they've passed, they'll be passed on to the next people.
So
We're starting to put all these together.
So only some of these are chromed and some are
black.
satin finished.
Yeah.
And this is
This is satin chrome.
right.
and then they'll either be black, satin chrome.
And the electronics for your control unit are manufactured here or outsourced?
The actual electrics are outside.
Yeah. So the circuit board and the which makes sense. I mean,
through a partnership arrangement, all of the software has been designed, engineered, and manufactured specifically for SME.
Right.
And then, of course,
okay. And which one is this for?
That's for a 10. Model 10.
And the wiring harnesses, you don't make those.
we sure do.
You do.
We sure do.
Okay. See, I had to ask.
Yeah. The wiring harnesses are all made in house. We've seen some of these components already downstairs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So from the die casting to the hand finishing, to the painting and plating, even down to the plastic componentry, and the screw to assemble it together is SME made.
But the wire itself.
The wire itself comes from a reputed and respected audio cable manufacturer. And for the phono plugs, I'm just looking for a silver one I can show you. For the phono plugs, again, they are SME England branded. The plastics, the pins, the metalwork, all made in-house by SME.
Oh. Yeah.
The person that assembles the cables up for us is SME's longest serving employee.
Ah. Interesting.
I'll walk you through the final assembly area.
Okay, Brian.
Right, okay. Well, once everything's come from inspection, it's all brought into the various storage areas down here with sub-assemblies beginning to come together. So here we've got the beginnings of the M2 range. This is the bearing assembly for the M2s. Just a pillar. The bearings have been pre-installed.
So is that the last new arm that SME developed?
In last kind of all new arm, yeah.
Yeah.
It is really, yeah. And even this is a development of the Series 2, so it's
And how long has this been in production now? 10 years?
yeah, a bit over 10 years, about 12, yeah, about 12 years. So that's the beginnings of those, and then moving one step further on, they'll then moved on to this stage with the familiar SME bed plate.
Right.
Slightly heavier than the old Series 2. It's a machined brass bed plate now rather than the die cast. And then they're being readied for the installation of the wiring and the tone arm further down the line.
Right. And do you OEM these parts too? Or?
No, we
No,
don't, not on
it's
those,
only
no.
your own name
It's
on
only
it.
our own name on those.
But other turntable manufacturers buy them and
yes, they do. Yeah.
which
We
is fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we supply those to all sorts. So we have up here all sorts of arms nearing the end of their build. So we've got Series 512s up the top there. That's the Premier arm really, and the 12-inch arm version.
Right.
These arms here is a mixture of Series 5s. Up the top, 309s down the bottom. Pretty much the 309 is probably our top selling arm. Offers lots of the benefits of the Series 5 in a stripped down.
Far less
Yeah,
expensive. Yeah.
And they're all prepared for orders going forward. So here we have this is the bearing assembly for 312S. So it's had the top range bearings installed in here and also in the yoke. This is absolutely silky smooth bearings. Obviously we can rotate it by 360 degrees at the moment. When it's in use, it's only using a fraction of a degree.
What's the finish on this? What is this particular?
This is what we call a chemical blacking process. It's like a chemical rust in a way, in layman's terms, but it's a very hard finish.
Yes.
But it is actually a chemical blacking rather than a chrome finish.
Ah.
So this is the general finish is black chrome.
And these are motors.
These are motors being prepared for model 15s. So they're all been pre-installed, pre-wired, ready and waiting for the next bit of build on the actual hardware.
And are these motors? These are manufactured for you.
Yes.
Motors.
Yeah. We don't make the motors, obviously.
So they made Pabst from Germany.
Pabst,
So they are good, I'm sure.
Yes. Very, very good. Moving further down here, we've got a little interesting little feature. Some of our historic arms.
Yeah.
So where it all started. If you you're interested. This is the Series 1 from the about 1957, 1958, the very first SME style of arm. You've got the familiar shape and look. And this is what really gave the SME its name really, and where it all started. All machined out of solids rather than die castings. Quite a neat little dashpot for the lift lower device. And as this began to gain popularity, we went from that, which is genuine Series 1, really on to the very first Series 2. So familiar look, still with the extension out the back for the weight, but using die cast components, so much better for high volume production.
Is that a knife edge bearing?
Knife edge bearings in these, yeah. So,
and the purpose of this weight is?
This is the plane weight. This applies tracking force,
right.
yeah. And on the top here, you'd have the little outrigger with the bias weight for the.
Now, is this something similar is still in production?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So that's the M2, what we would now call the M2 range. So this is the modern day equivalent. So this is the bearing assembly that we looked at initially just there, familiar bearing, but the familiar shape and size of the SME.
And so what is this model called?
This is an M29R.
M29R,
yeah.
As opposed to the straight pipe.
Is an M29. Yeah. So this was brought back in about 5-6 years ago, because we have a lot of clients who like to use this style of head shell.
Right.
And then you can plug in the SPU cartridges into here.
Right, which they love.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. I understand the love. I don't share the love, but I understand the love.
Yeah.
That's what's important in this business, is to understand different tastes and different desires.
So we do this version in a 9-inch and a 12-inch version. Various other ones from history along here. We have the next one was the Series 2 improved. So that was if we're going in product design, the familiar shape. So this is early 1970s.
Right.
A much more simple weight arrangement makes it easier for setting the arm up. Simplified tracking force.
So this is to balance it, and then that's
yeah. Whereas the other one, you had an extension, you had to unlock it and slide the weights around.
Right.
This is very, very simple to use. Immediately following that was the Series 3. This one here.
I remember that one.
Series 3. This actually gained quite a few awards, although it's.
It wasn't that. It was controversial in some ways, wasn't it?
It was controversial because pretty much when it came to market, a lot of cartridge manufacturers had a change of heart. They went from very lightweight cartridges.
This is very low mass.
It's very low mass.
So it's really for a moving magnet, for high compliance moving magnet.
Low weight.
Yeah, and you don't make this anymore.
No. This was only in production, probably for the shortest time.
Yeah.
It started in 1976 and probably ran through to just about the 1980s.
What is this all made out of?
It's a carbon fiber plastic.
It is carbon fiber.
Yeah.
It's way ahead of its time.
Very ahead of its time. Titanium arm tube, lightweight. A change from detachable head shell, the arm actually detached here, so you could actually change the whole arm tube.
How do you detach it?
It just
pops out.
Yeah.
I see.
So that's how that one worked. And that was.
I bet you there are some people that now, in retrospect, see the value of this and would want it to come back.
Yeah.
Could you do it?
Technically, it's probably doable, but whether it's commercially viable now is probably questionable. Because
the fashion is low compliance, high mass, and that's the fashion now. But there are, there's always a move. It's like fashion. There's always a move to go back to a high compliance, light mass, low mass arms that track at 1 gram. And
there is, as you say, there's a predominance of actually lightweight cartridges. This example here of the Series 5 is one of the development Series 5s from the mid 1980s. So this was one of the very first ones that was produced. Which we've still kept here. So this was actually a prototype, effectively.
What's the difference between this and the final production?
Very little, actually. The physical look of it is identical.
Yeah.
There were a few blueprints before this where it was changed on paper, but by the time we come to this stage, this was.
Yeah, it looks pretty familiar to me.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Yeah. It's fantastic to keep a prototype around, really.
Oh, yeah.
Again, way ahead of its time.
And that was way ahead of its time. Way.
So that was the Series 5. Of course, then came the Series 4.
You were able to bring the cost down.
His little brother.
What are the major differences?
Major difference with the Series 4 as opposed to the 5 is you don't have the paraphernalia here for the damping system.
Oh, right.
Sonic damper. It doesn't have the control on the side here to apply tracking force, so it's got what we call static. You just apply tracking force by using the main
Which
weight.
some people actually like that.
With the Series 5 you can do it either way.
That's right, just leave it off.
Yeah, so you can leave it on 0. But those are the major differences really. That it really was the damping kit and the dynamic static force as opposed to the dynamic tracking force. Still the one-piece arm tube. And then the next one phase on from that was the 300 series. The example we have here is actually a 310, but we do this in, this is a 310, we also did it in a 309 and a 12-inch version, the 312. Same concept really as the Series 4.
Just detachable head sharp.
Detachable head sharp, yeah. The early versions of this actually, which this one is, had an aluminium arm tube. But later they were developed with a magnesium arm tube, which we've been using for about 10 or 12 years.
Did that change the price?
No, it didn't.
Didn't?
No, no, it didn't. No. So the actual people who were purchasing these later on probably got quite a significant improvement in performance because magnesium is far better.
Yeah.
Whoops. So that's most of the.
What's this red number here? Is
right, this is just a design concept that we were looking at pre-Munich this year, whether or not we could actually offer to market a red tone arm
to go with the red
with the red model 10. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of been, the idea's been parked at the moment. We may or may not run something like this in the future. It's a bit of a departure from a normal finish though.
Yes.
That one?
Any colour.
Right. Any colour other than silver.
But, that's one of your trademarks.
Yeah. So, various componentry coming together here. We do it in batches. These are the weights for the Series 300. Having the weight installed. Actually, you even have a gasket between the weight housing and the arm tube, so it slides more easily.
What is so? If this is a piece of sliding, is that
it's a special fibre gasket, so it's got better properties than metal to metal, and when it's locked up, it also has a bit of an interface that will be.
And there's no threat that that's going to unglue itself.
No. That locks into place.
And what is the weight under? What is the weight itself made out of?
It's made of tungsten, so this is a tungsten weight.
Oh.
A high pressure tungsten.
Tungsten is not inexpensive, is it?
No, it's very expensive. Yeah.
It's the best material because it's the heaviest for the size.
Yes, for its size. Yeah. So we move into the turntable preparation area. We have a few turntables on test at the moment. So we pre-assemble and run. So this is a Model 23. It's the latest version of the Model 20. This is just to put a strobe disc on it to protect the platter surface.
Right.
And then we will run these for as long as we can afford to run them before they go out, so that we can begin to mechanically bed in the bearing and also prove the electronics are reliable.
Right. Who manufactures the belts?
The belts are manufactured for us. I couldn't say who they're actually manufactured by, but they're actually manufactured for us by a partner company.
That's critical to the performance.
It is very much so, yes. And this is, of course, the latest, in effect, turntable that came to market about 2 years ago.
I reviewed this.
You did? Yes.
And I think it's one of the best turntables that you've ever made. That's my opinion.
This is.
I really like it. Has it been popular?
It's been very popular. It's very, very popular.
I think it hits a really great mark as far as I'm concerned.
A nice turntable, something different from SME, departure from the Model 10 and the rectangular turntables. But yeah, it's come to market and it's been well received. And of course, we launched at the Munich show a special version of this with some polished pieces here and here, and on I didn't have one here, but that was a way forward there. Now up here, these are bearings. This is a Model 20 bearing. Immense shaft running in oil-like bearings in here.
And that's a closed system?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So
it's a once-in-a-lifetime oil. When it arrives at the customer, there's a little oil filler adapter inserted in here.
Yep.
dispense the special oil in,
And you're done.
And you're done for life. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's not been oiled yet, but this is a
Yep.
tool steel shaft, and it's been super finished, so it gives it a
And that's all done in house too, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because that's your core business,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So that's that one.
Well,
And
there's one that's not been finished, so we can actually see
Yeah.
it unmasked.
Yeah.
You never see this.
This is a Model 10 shaft, as you can see, in comparison to the other one is thinner, but not by much.
But, well, compared to most,
Yeah, by most it's
substantial. And that's the oil run.
Yeah, this is where the oil runs. The ball sits in here, and it's running on a pad in the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's a tungsten ball. Thinner sub-platter than
Yeah.
all the others, but that's a Model 10. And the last one we have there is the immense size for Model 30. So much longer shaft. So you eliminate sideways wobble of any type, which you can get in shorter shafts. Same dimension, it's tool steel shaft again, super finished, with the screw thread on the top for the operation of the clamp. Absolutely superb bearing. Probably one of the biggest bearings in the industry.
Yeah.
There we go. And we have decks already here and behind you, all forming part of the next order to go out.
Ready to go out.
To somewhere around the world. It's not been determined exactly where that one will go yet.
Okay, that's number 318.
Number
So
318.
maybe number 318 will watch the video and see his turntable.
Turntable,
That would be exciting.
fully protected.
This one, this is 312.
312, yeah. Yeah. Okay. A service area. This is where all the action happens in actually building the turntables. This is a Model 10 platter with the surface already fitted and bonded to the aluminium platter.
And that scroll surface.
Yeah, that will be scrolled. At the moment it
Yeah.
isn't. This is the bare material, so we can touch
And
it
what
quite
is the
easily.
bare material?
It's a material called isodamp. So it's a development, a special acoustic material, which we actually obtain for this.
And then
It's
the
an-
scroll how does that happen?
It's done on a machine, so we put this back up onto a machine in this sort of way, and it's spun on a lathe, and it's a scroll that's done in one hit all the way down to the label area. And I remember very well the development of this. We tried this material back in the 1990s on the Model 30 with Alistair Robertson-Aikman. Took it down the music room and tried a record on this flat surface, and he was quite happy. But then said, oh, it doesn't look very good, so how can we improve it? We put a scroll on it, took it back to the music room and tried it again, and it sounded even better.
Yeah.
The actual scrolled finish actually had an acoustic gain as opposed to a flat finish. And that was quite an exciting period of time when we were developing
Well, that's one of the
all
things
this.
that a lot of people really have to understand about turntables is that they're tuned systems.
Yes, yeah.
It's a mechanically tuned system. You can't damp the hell out of it to the ends of the earth, because then you damp all the life
Yeah,
out of it
that's
too.
right.
It's a balancing act.
It's almost a living thing, isn't it? It's almost a living thing. What we're looking at there is all the storage of componentry for the turntables, the various turntables, the turntable feet, pistons, the isodamp material. In front of you, one moment. This is a damping panel for Model 20. So this is the isodamp material before it's bonded to the surface. So if you put this, if you were to hang a chassis on a thing like this and to hit it before this material's on it, would ring like a bell.
Right.
As soon as you install this material, it's completely inert and dead.
This goes underneath,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's used extensively on all of our
so
chassis.
you really don't even see it.
You don't see it now because it's on the underside.
Right.
Yeah. And that's on both chassis and on the platter, so you've got extensive use of that material.
Yeah. And there's more of it in other.
Yeah, that's
you know.
that's for the platters. And as I say, this is just a general assembly area and storage area for all of the turntables. Turntable feet.
There's a lot of parts. A lot of parts go into this.
Yeah.
Okay, this is great. Thank you. Very lonely in here. There's not much here.
No,
You don't get much.
this is,
back.
no, this is an M29. It's come back.
Oops, I see what happened.
And the customer's had a little bit of a mistake dropping something on here, so he sent that back. He wants a new arm tube fitted, and at the same time we rewire it, of
You
course.
got to check the bearings. That
Absolutely.
could have gotten
Yeah.
damaged too.
It's sad to see him when they come back, but we can look after it, all of these.
Did he kick himself about that?
I'm sure he did, yes. Yeah.
What's the turnaround time?
Oh, it's very quick normally, within 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, that's good. Where is that going?
This one's from South Korea.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We have
Probably was watching TV and saw that North Korea launched a missile and
Yeah.
he was got a little angry.
Yeah.
Okay, great. How many countries in the world will you find SME products? Do you know?
We find them in nearly all countries now. We have distributors all the way around the world. We have distributors in North America, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, all of Europe.
Yeah.
It's very widely available now.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It's good. Yeah, great. Thanks. This was the original part.
Yeah, and then this has been added on about 15 years ago.
15 years ago, they added this on. And that was, so the factory that I saw was built, the original, I mean, the factory over there was in 1960.
About 58.
58. And they still kept this, and then they added to this.
Yes.
So now you're about filled.
Yeah, we're about capacity.
But you're at capacity. So what are you going to do? Don't know. You have to make more efficient use of the space.
Yeah, sure.
So in here, look.
So these are like the original head shell, retro head shells that
Right.
we've always made.
You still make these,
Still make them for the M2.
and people still use them.
Yep.
Because how many of this particular turntable are out there? A million? Tone arm are out there, a million?
Yeah, well, it's got to be a few 100,000. I would
Yeah.
have thought, yeah, with that type of head shell, wouldn't it?
This is lunch break, it's good. So we can go in.
Yeah, they're going to go home. And, oh,
Oh, they're done for the day.
so we've got lots of the. This is like the older equipment, and this
yeah.
is like the original.
Wow.
So we've got mini machines.
This is like Stone Age, man.
Yeah, but this is all what we started with to get all the tone arms up and going.
And so this is, these are more the people who do artisan work with machine equipment as opposed to the CNC, which is all
yeah,
automated.
this is all hand,
Yeah.
all hand on. Yeah.
And it still pays to use this older
It
stuff.
does for the jobs that they're it's designed for. Yeah. Yeah. So we've got presses here, so they press all the parts out. Where the pillar and the pillar plug is pressed together on this type of machine, and then all the flat brass work is all done on this 12-ton press. So all the little spanners
Right.
and the small square washers that we make is all done on this machine.
These are very old machines now.
Yeah.
Do they require a lot of maintenance, or are they pretty much
No.
bulletproof?
They're bulletproof, yeah, they just go and go. And then all the castings from upstairs, they all come down, and then we
Right.
start working on them. So all the holes down through here, and the cap screw holes that fit on, and then all the sharp edges will all be removed.
Right. And this is the trough for the silicone fluid for the damping of the SME5.
So all the balance weight housings, they'll all be cast upstairs. They'll all have the sharpness on there, and they'll be drilled, and then on the underside they'll be drilled and tapped.
Yeah, it's a lot to get this finally finished. It's a lot of work to finish
finished,
it.
It's got to be barreled. It's got to be rubbed, fettled,
And then it gets a huge piece of tungsten inside of it.
Correct.
I think it would be kind of cool. They're going to smack me for this. Would be to make an arm with all these parts, but not finished.
Oh right,
Just
okay.
like
Just
raw, and sell it for a lot less, and say you can spray paint it in your garage, whatever you want to do. But look, just make it raw. You think it would sound different? I wonder. Not that different.
Not really. No, I think it was. With the plate in it, probably.
So you know what
does
it's like?
help
It's like
with quality.
sitting economy on an airplane.
Yeah.
You sit in the back and it's
Exactly.
horrible, but what can you do? It's all you can afford, but you're getting where you're going.
Yeah.
So what if you made an arm with just not unfinished, not attractive looking in its raw state?
And every 6 months you can change the colour of it.
Yeah, spray different colors, sell it for a
different
discount. I
finishing.
like that. I like that idea. I'm gonna propose that to the CEO. Who'll probably send me home.
So this CNC machine is down this end is basically where we start everything before it goes to the main factory. So all the raw material will come in, and then bits like this. This is the lower anchor gallery for a Model 20. So it's aluminium. It's got 10 holes around the outside for the little pin. That'll be screwed to the chassis of the Model 20 turntable, and it's black anodized.
What I like is that this is a computerized machine, but it's got a CRT television.
Yeah.
It's like an old school. It's
Cool.
like.
Yeah.
So what year is this? Is from the early 70s? Would this be from? This machine?
80s.
80s.
80s. Yeah. Hardinge, a good American brand.
Wasn't that a song by Grand Funk Railroad? We're an American brand. No, that's we're American band. I'm sorry. I got confused. I got so confused I told a terrible pun. I try to avoid terrible puns, but I didn't avoid that one.
They're all done now. We've got enough there now. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
That looks nasty. He just passed away, Mr. Gromit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy with the wide smile, who apparently looked like that. He had a very white, not that
Not
bad,
that,
not
yeah.
quite like that. He was presentable. Now, this looks like a fairly new machine.
It is. It's only February is brought in.
An XYZ. I'm in England. It's a Z,
XYZ.
not Z. We don't say Z.
Yeah.
And this is a drill press essentially.
Yeah, milling machine. Yeah. We did want a traditional Bridgeport machine.
And what is this?
Unfortunately, they don't make Bridgeport machines anyway, so this is a Chinese copy.
And what is this used for in particular?
General purpose machining, if we're going to make any tools and fixtures, so we'd be making that.
Looks nice.
Yeah.
Does it work better than the one that it replaced?
The one it replaced, it does.
Yeah.
But it's not better than the Bridgeport, which is a British machine.
Yeah.
So, the store's down the other end, so all these aluminium parts and brass parts.
Auto parts for a cam body. Wait a second. What are auto parts doing in here?
Because it was made on an automatic machine.
Oh, it's not really auto parts.
No, not auto parts. No.
I thought it's fine.
Yeah, just no. It's because it's made on an automatic.
I thought it was
machine.
auto part. This is for a Camry, a Toyota Camry, but no, it isn't. Okay.
Yeah, cam bodies. These are for the older arms, so they're called the spares.
I think you got enough spares there to last.
Last a while. So this is like for an R-type arm, which we don't really manufacture now. So they're just spares for. So I say half of it's storage and half of it's.
Okay, this was the add-on. This was the add-on.
This is a die casting machine. So this machine is making all these control brackets which we looked at earlier. So this is that machine there.
So this is a casting machine?
That's a die casting machine.
Die casting machine, yeah. And wow, look at what goes in there.
So the billets of which is the zinc down the parts down about that would go into the into the crucible. It'll melt down, and then whatever die casting tools.
Okay, so that's the zinc.
That's the zinc.
Zinc is not like poisonous like lead, though, right?
No. It's a mixture of aluminiums and
and it goes in here.
it goes in the hopper.
And then it gets melted.
And it melts down into a liquid form, and then we will put a tool in this gap here, and there's a plunger that pushes down, which forces the zinc into the die cast, and that will make the part.
Wow.
And then we've got a plastic moulding machine here.
Plastic mold, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one is actually doing all the handles. So the black handle with the hexagon bar for it, which is done for setting up, and it's got SME on there.
Right.
It's actually going to mould the handle.
But this is the finished die-cast zinc
Yeah.
Look at it. Now that's a big supply of these things.
Yeah, well, these ones are actually going in, they're not up to standard.
They're getting remelted?
So they're going to be melted down, these ones, and they're going to be put through and processed again.
What didn't meet standard?
I think this one, on this edge here, it's broken away, and we can't blend that back in.
Oh, I got you.
So,
so each of these was hand inspected and put in here?
Put in there, yeah.
How long did it take to hand inspect
Well,
them?
as we go through the processes, the different processes, if there's any that don't pass, then they will just get put into a collection area, and then they're all built. They come back.
But none of these have been plated in any way. They're just these are raw.
We can't reprocess them if they've been plated.
So these are all raw ones.
All raw ones. So
how long did it take to accumulate this amount?
Even bits like this, it's probably not drilled properly.
Right, so anything,
it's got a mark.
Anything zinc
will be reprocessed.
Will be put in here and reprocessed.
Yeah.
It'll be remelted.
Yeah. So we've got a honing machine, and this honing machine does the main.
What is that?
They're plastic molding machines as well. So they will do all the tiny little plugs and everything for the arms.
Gets noisy in here when it's all going on.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad?
Yeah, it's more noisy with the radio.
I see you give them all good stereos at least.
Oh, definitely.
I'm being sarcastic.
Touchy, yeah.
You should have better stereos here. Come on.
Yeah, we're not here to listen to the radio.
Yeah.
This is a honing machine, and the main pillar that the arm is all built onto is processed here, and this is where the main bearings are honed out down to 2/10 of a thou.
So this is a very critical machine.
This one is, because the bearings are actually loaded up. So this is one of the main parts of the pickup arm, and that machine does the bearings, and as I say, it's down to 2/10 of a thou, the quality. This is a thread generating machine, so the threads on the VTA screw and the other components of the turntable and pickup arm that we generate threads on that machine. This is a surface grinder, so anything that needs flattening off, any tools that need grinding, inside the pillar there's a pillar plug, and it's ground at top and bottom to make sure that it's parallel with each other, so that when the bearing housings are all put together, that they all run true.
What's interesting is how primitive all this machinery is,
what we produce,
and what it puts out is such a fine.
Yeah.
It's one of the ironies in life.
Solid quality engineering. Yeah. So this is an M2 pillar that we've been working on. So this one is the M2. It's got a thread on the outside, and at the moment we're just grinding this diameter, and then inside there's the pillar plug that sits in there, and they've gone on the honing machine.
So what is this now?
That's a M2 pillar.
Oh, the M2. Okay, so it's a threaded pillar.
And they can adjust the height, and that's why the thread was on the outside. And that. So okay. And then and then these grinding machines. So, good old-fashioned engineering.
Guess they're making a couple of M2s.
Yeah, they're always on the go. So we're all, 4s, 5s, 300s, and M2s.
And what is this now?
This one, after we've assembled the pillar plug into the pillar, and then we've ground the end, we grind the OD. So that one hasn't been ground, and that one has.
Oh,
so it's just to take the tops of it off, and then it'll go down to the polishing shop, and then the OD would be polished. So there's still more work to be done.
And these
they haven't been done yet.
Have not been done yet.
No.
So it looks like a pipe.
Yeah. It does. It looks like one of those industrial...
And you put all these threads are put in here?
When they make the original blank down the other end on the CNC turning machines, they put the thread on original.
Huh.
Super. And unfortunately...
And this?
This is a grinding machine, and this one will do pillars and anything round, basically.
Here's another example of it's a pipe, threaded pipe. Okay, but look at all that goes into that. It's got to be exact. It's got to look exact. Look what goes in. And Luckily they write this stuff down so you remember what it is.
Well, yeah, we have all drawings for all the parts, all the pillars, and all the little clamp bolts that we make. That's a guide pin. That's for the older arms.
This is what makes it so funny when he goes, I know what the parts cost of that is. I can make my own.
My own, yeah.
Go ahead, make your own.
Rider weights, even down to a rider weight on the part. And that's, even the arm socket and arm socket nuts.
This is, now who was WRE?
Reg was a old employee. You probably over the years have met him, but he's retired now. So
Redrawn 31097.
Yeah, so they'll all be updated. This is an arm socket nut. Holds the head shell onto the end of the tone arm.
I think you should have a contest and let people look at all these drawings and have somebody who can identify every single part and they get a free arm. But it can't be a finished arm, it has to be one of the unfinished arms.
And the unfinished one, so they can paint it.
Right.
This is an M2 tone arm, so these are all the different dimensions that we got, the lengths, the sizes, where all the holes go, and the sizes of the holes for each part.
That was rejoined in 2003.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very interesting. And now we're done.
Yeah, another day.
You can walk through here, through the valley of the shadow of two more machines that I have no idea. This is the stick shift. It changes the factory from second gear to third gear.
That actually closes the collet within there. So when you pull this
Oh yeah.
this way,
Whoa.
it'll open and close the collet and hold the piece of metal that is in.
So are you trained to operate all of these machines?
Yeah, over the years, because as I say, we've been here 40 years. I know all the machines. Yeah,
So if I said to you, I want you to machine and assemble an entire tone arm, you could do it.
Yeah, I've gone from day one working drills through to making the tone arm, putting the tone arm together. This is a casting from Chicago.
Cast,
it's still you can.
it's a
still,
very exclusive one because it doesn't even have holes for the. This is one where you glue the cartridge to the.
It's work in progress.
Yeah, and it'll probably sound better.
Yeah. So back to I've worked at SME for 40 years and dealt with that with a part.
Did you think at some point that by now this would be all gone and it would be just a medical equipment company?
Yeah, well, with Mr. Aikman in charge and the family connection, I always thought that there was always going to be a job and we'd always be employed and in SME and the SME way.
Yeah,
as
because
Mr.
it's a
Aikman.
family. It was a family business.
and whatever. So yeah,
that's cool.
good. Yeah.
Okay, and you're still here.
Still here. Don't intend to go anywhere.
How much more are you going to do it?
Well, I'm 56, so I've still got 10 years to go.
You're a kid.
Yeah.